Hi, this is question 10 of the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level Paper 2 in 2021. As always, if you want a copy of the notes I'm using, just send an email to shanetroy@gmail.com and that email address will be in the description below. If you like these videos, hit the subscribe to get access to more playlists. So question 10 is the last question in the paper. And just on first glances here, it looks like it is to do coordinate geometry. I love coordinate geometry. My favorite question if I had to choose one. It says a TY maths class has created a game involving a coordinates treasure map, as shown below. The game consists of tasks that involve directions, distances, and locations. The tasks in the game are based on the map. Okay, so I need to read that again. I'm not sure what's going on. Not sure if it matters. Okay, anyway. So part 1 there says the treasure is hidden at location -2, -5. Okay, -2, -5. That's down here. So I'm just going to mark that. That's T. Okay. Oh, that's what the question's asking. Sorry, I should read the question before I do anything. Mark T on the map where this treasure can be found. So I put the big mark and I've labeled the T. And if I wanted to go overkill, I could put in -2, -5. Although it does say mark T, it doesn't say put the coordinates. And it would say label. It did have to say if they wanted it. Now, part 2 says food is located at a point F on the map. None of these are F. No, okay. The point F is on a line which contains the point 3, -5. Okay, that's A down here. And has a slope of -1. Now, slope can be expressed as rise over run. So if you have a negative slope, it's going down. And rise over run would have, the only way you can get 1 is if it's going down 1 for every 1 it's going across. Okay, so that tells us something about what's happening. Whatever is happening, it's going down. Okay, and it's going down 1 for every 1 it goes across. So I'm not going to say it's there, but if it could be there and there, it would be at that steepness. Okay. Now let's see if we can figure out where it actually is. So it contains, actually we do know. It contains 3 -5 and goes up at a slope of -1. Okay, or down rather. So you can just, it's the next point would be this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. So let's draw a straight line. Hopefully I can draw it. Okay, I should use a ruler, but I can't. I'm using the thing I can't use. It says by drawing. No, it says, actually, I should have finished reading the question. I apologize. The point F is also on a line which contains 6, 4. Now, my drawing there is terrible. Is it going to affect the answer? Might. We'll see in a second. So the point F is on a line which contains B and has a slope of 0. Now, 0, y isn't changing relative to x. So it's this horizontal line here. Okay. Now, where do they meet? That's the point F. Now, what's the coordinates of that? Is on the x is -6, on the y is 4. -6, 4. Now, I should have used a ruler. But again, slope, we can use the slope formula, okay, which we often say is y2 minus y1. That's just a change in y's, which is the rise, okay, over the run is the change in the x's. Now, that's the slope formula, but the slope formula comes from a concept. And slope is just the rate of change. How fast is y changing relative to x? So if I had something going up like this, okay, a line like that, y is going up 2 units, okay, for every 1 it goes across. That has a slope of 2 over 1, which is 2. And that's what slope is. Now, it's a really important thing in maths. And if you think about it from a scientific point of view or engineering, that's what science does, and engineers. They measure change. And we try to use that information to make our lives better, hopefully. Now, the answer's there. Okay, you see the T we marked down here for part A, part 1, and the F. So it's got the line drawn properly. Okay, has a slope of -1, and then the other one here going through B is a slope of 0. That's part A. Now, just to point out, there's 15 marks for that, 10 marks for just locating a coordinate. Happy days. Now, question 10, part B, part 1. A clue to another treasure is hidden in a locked box at a point 64. Okay, let's go back here. Is that that? Okay, that's where the map is hidden. The 4-digit code to open the box is D to the power of 4. We put that there, so D to the power of 4. So if I know this D, I can work it out. The power of 4 is just multiplying the number by itself, by itself, by itself. And D is the distance from B to C. Okay, so look, I know what's going on here. It's got the point 64 and the point minus 32. And they want to find the distance between them. Now, the simplest thing to do here is use the distance formula. Okay, it's the square root of the difference in the x's squared plus the difference in the y's squared. In essence, the distance formula is a reorganization or rephrasing of Pythagoras' theorem. Now, once I have this, okay, I have 4 coordinates I need to know in order to fill this in, and I do know them. This is x and y, my first x, first y. This is x and y as well, second x, second y. Once I've decided which coordinates go where, it's a matter of actually putting them in. Okay, so the big square root, I'm going to fill in the values here. So x2 is minus 3. Now that I can leave it as minus 3. I don't need to put it in brackets because it's not going to be changed by multiplying by anything. The x1 value, so it's minus the x1 value, which is plus 6. So minus by plus leaves that as a minus. So I don't need to worry about that. Now y2 is 2 take away y1 is 4. So it's pretty handy. There was no need for sign changes. Now I'm going to just try work this down, and I could just program the whole thing in the calculator. But in this first bracket, minus 3 minus 6 is the same thing as minus 9. 2 minus 4 is the same thing as minus 2. Now, the end bit here, I saw this mistake made a few times. Minus 9 squared means minus 9 times minus 9, which is plus 81. Okay, you're adding that plus minus 2 by minus 2 is plus 4. So your answer there is square root of 81 plus 4 is the square root of 85. Now, D4, okay, we said in the question, is that number to the power of 4. I could do it by hand, or I could use my trusty calculator, which is what it's for, if I can find it. So put in brackets the square root of 85. I'm going to close the brackets, and that's to the power of 4. Press equal. I got the number 7225. Okay, and now I actually confused myself, and I just should have remembered this, but that's actually not the right answer. The reason is they said that D is an element of n. That means that D must be a natural whole number. This is not a natural whole number. Okay, so I should have done there, I'm going to cross that out. What I should have done there was cut the square root of 85 and converted that to a number. Now, that would be square root of 85. It'll be an irrational. Okay, that is 9.21, so that's the same thing as 9.21, which is not a natural whole number. But if I round that down to the nearest natural whole number, it would be 9. So my d to the power of 4 is the same thing as 9 to the power of 4, which is 6561. I'm actually looking at the answer. That's how I copied it. I was wrong. Sometimes these things matter. Usually they don't. Now, if I recall the marking scheme, if you put the square root of 85 in and got the answer, I think you got full marks. I have to look back. I don't actually remember for sure. But if you didn't, it was very, very close to it. I think actually, no, I'm almost certain you did. Okay, because it's an easy thing to misread. Now, question 10, part B, part 2. A meeting point 2M is below the x-axis. Okay, so if I draw a quick, now below the x-axis is down here. 2 and the x is somewhere over here, so M is somewhere on this little dotted line here. Somewhere there. So a meeting point 2M is below the x-axis. P is the distance of the square root of 41 from point B, which is 64. Find the value of M and plot point P. Now, if I use the distance formula again, okay, I know that the distance is square root of 41. So if I write it out, distance is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Now, my two values there were 2m and 6, 4. And my distance was square root of 41. So my unknown there is the m, which is one of the coordinates. So if I label these x1, y1, x2, y2, I'm going to sub it in. I'll sub it in over here. Okay. So the I'll do it here. Square root of 41 is equal to this, and that's x2 is 6 take away 2. On the far side here, it's y2 take away y1, so it's 4 take away m, and that's to be squared. Now, if I simplify that, okay, 6 minus 2 is the same thing as 4 to be squared. I should keep the left-hand side going. And over here, now 4 minus m squared is the same thing as 4 minus m times 4 minus m. Now, if I'm multiplying a two-term bracket by two-term bracket, I have to make sure that everything in the first bracket multiplies by everything in the second bracket. I can do it here by tracking along. 4 by 4 is 16. Now, 4 by minus m is minus 4m. Now, here, the minus m here by 4 is minus 4m. And the minus m by minus m is plus m squared. Okay, so I've done that. So I'm going to put it in biggest power first, m squared. The minus 4m is the same thing as minus 8m. I owe you €4. I borrow 4 more off you. I owe you €8 plus the 16. So I've just rearranged them by going down a power. It doesn't really matter. Now the last thing I could do there is that's the square root of 4 squared is 16 plus m squared minus 8m plus 16. Now in the next line there, let's put the square root of 41. I'm running out of space, so I'm just going to use a quick thing here. I could combine the 16 and 16, and they would give me 32. Okay, I don't need to have them separate. Now here's where things get tricky. You have a square root on both sides. How do you get rid of it? Now, if I square the left-hand side, that's going to achieve it. If I do something to one side, I must do it to the other. If you square a square root, what happens? Okay, they cancel each other. Same thing over here. The square root cancels the square. Now I'm left with this statement. Okay, 41 is equal to m squared minus 8m plus 32. I'm going to use my answer on the next page. So I'm basically left off here. Okay. Now I brought the 41 across. Okay, and what's happened here is the minus 4 squared plus the 16 becomes 32. So if I I'll try write it here. 41 is equal to m squared minus 8m plus 32. Bring the 41 across. You're left with 0 is equal to m squared minus 8m plus 32. Take 41. Now do the calculation. That's the same thing as I think there's a mistake here in my notes. I just copied it. That's wrong. So if I just continue on here, that should be 0 is equal to m squared minus 8m. Now 32 take away 41 is minus 9. Now this is a quadratic. I know that because the biggest power is 2. That's all the one variable. And I can solve this by opening up two brackets. And I could use the minus b quadratic formula. Put m in one bracket, m in the other. And I'm looking for what two numbers multiply to give minus 9, but add to give minus 8. Now, you see the answer there. Plus 1 and minus 9. Okay, give me that. 1 by minus 9 is minus 9. Minus 9 plus 1 is minus 8. Okay, so I probably should spend more time doing that, but that's solving quadratics. Once you know it's quadratic, you can solve it. You could use the minus b formula, but you're going to end up then with m is equal to minus 1 or m is equal to 9. Now, the m is equal to 9 doesn't work because we were told the point is below the x-axis, so it has to be negative. So my m value is minus 1. My answer is 2 minus 1. And that's it. Now, it's a tricky enough one there. I didn't have enough space, but I've chopped these exam papers a little bit. I probably should have left more space there for it. I must go back and fix that text in my thing. The answer's right, but that just, whatever way I typed this wrong whenever I did it. Now the next one here, we're almost there. Part C, part 1 says the line K has equation x minus y minus 3 is equal to 0. verify using substitution, okay, that the point t, which is minus 2, 5, is on k. Now this is a bog standard question. They're telling you what to do. This is your x value, okay, this is a y value. Substitute them in instead. So the x there is minus 2 minus, now if you do a negative number, you should put it in the brackets, okay. Even though I didn't do the beginning, that can't be affected. Maybe I should have, but whatever, to be consistent. So going left to right, minus 2, minus by minus changes that to a plus 5, take away 3 equals 0. Now if you add this, minus 2 plus 5 is the same thing as 3, take 3 is 0. So 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, point is on line. If your answer, if the left side was, now this is more for a circle, okay? If they don't equal, the point is not on the line. Again, that's why it's bog standard. It's if you get asked, that's all you have to do. It might ask it again in circle question as well. Now, part 2 here says another treasure also needs to be somewhere on the line K. You must pick a spot along K to contain this treasure. Use algebra to find another point on K other than T. Now, I could draw that actually. X minus 3 minus x minus y minus 3 is equal to 0. If I leave the minus y here and bring everything over the far side, the x is going to become negative going across and the minus 3 is going to become positive. Now, if I can compare that to the form y equals mx plus c, I'm going to end up with the value of the slope. In order to do that, I'm going to multiply across by a minus 1. Minus 1 by minus y is plus y. Minus 1 by minus x is plus x. Minus 1 by plus 3 is the same thing as minus 3. Now, the minus 3 tells me where it crosses the y-axis, but the important thing here is that the slope is 1. Okay, so it's crossing somewhere down here maybe, and going up kind of like that. Okay, it's a positive slope. Now, the one thing I know is that at every single point, there's an x value associated here. So if I pick any value of x, okay, I should be able to find another point on k. Now, I'm going to pick x is equal to 1. Okay, so at that stage, I'm going to put the 1 into my equation of the line. Okay, I'm going to use the original one. So when x is 1, what's y? I'm going to substitute 1 in for x. If you see now, it went from an equation of 2 unknowns to an equation of 1 unknown. This is solvable. Now for simplicity, I'm going to bring the y this side. 1 take 3 is equal to plus y. Now 1 take 3 is the same thing as minus 2. So what's the any coordinate there was 1 on the x minus 2 on the y is my answer. And that's it. Now we're almost there in the last part of this paper. A spade for digging is hidden on line L, which is parallel to K. The line L contains the point C minus 3, 2. Find the equation of L. Now, we've already done some work on this. So we have the point minus 3, 2. We have a point. We need to know the slope. Okay, now the reason I say we've worked on this is we did it here. The slope of that line is plus 1. Okay, it's parallel, so the slope of K is the same as the slope of L. Once I know that, okay, I can use the equation of the line formula. It's given the maths tables. I have a coordinate, I have a slope, therefore I can work it. So I'm going to call the point x1, y1. Now this y here and this x here don't get substituted. Literally had that in class this week. And that's where the student making their error. So y take away the 2, okay, is equal to 1 times x take away. Now the x is a negative number, so I should put in brackets. Once I have that done, okay, I can simplify it. Y minus 2 is equal to 1 times x plus 3. Now go left to right here. I'm going to start it up here. Y minus 2 is equal to 1 times x is 1x. 1 times 3 is 3. Now I'm almost there. Usually the leaving cert wants everything on one side, x being positive. So I'm going to leave x where it is. I'm going to bring the y across and the 2 across. So when the y moves, it becomes subtracted on the far side. When the 2 moves, it becomes positive on the far side. It becomes added. Now what's my answer then? X. You put the x first, the y second. 3 plus 2 is 5. And that's it. Okay, that should be the answer we have here. Find the equation of the line K. What have we done here? Actually, that is the answer. Y is equal. Now I've left it in actually not the right format, potentially. I've left it in the slope intercept format, not the point slope format. I don't think that took marks off because they didn't state they wanted it like that. This is the way I prefer it because in this format, where you can compare to y is equal to mx plus c, I can tell the slope is 1 by reading off the value in front of the x. I can tell you that crosses the y-axis at 5. Okay, so I know a lot about that line from looking at the equation. With the one I did in the last page, I can't tell much from this at all. I'd have to rearrange in my head, which is prone to error. So in my opinion, not as useful. Anyways, that's the end. So thanks very much. And if you want to copy the videos, the notes I'm working on, just send me an email at shanetry@gmail.com. If you like these videos, just click subscribe to get access to more playlists. Thanks.